Hi, I'm Andrew Wasson from Creative Guitar Studio. It is Friday, May 28th, 2010, and I'm just going to go through some questions that have come in off my website, starting with a question from David. He wrote in saying, "Hello Andrew, my question is, are there some rules to chord voicings when you have 4 comping instruments, for example, piano, bass, and 2 guitars? What do you do to avoid a mess of chords?" Well, basically, let's think about this. I think the main thing to think about is to shrink all your chord voicings down to a small size. You know what comes to mind? Something that I was into and I used to transcribe a lot when I was younger are all the old Steely Dan albums. Lots of instrumentation there, lots of stuff going on. And when you listen to things that, like, one of my favorite Steely Dan albums is The Royal Scam. Really like that album. And I believe Larry Carlton is the guitar dude on that one. So all of his voicings on all the rhythm parts, it's just little chord shots. He's just shooting little small chord voicings. So that would be my suggestion. Just shrink your chords down to next to nothing, and that should be a good help. Let's go to the next question. It's from Geoff. Geoff wrote in saying, "I have a question about modes. I was reading that you could take the C major scale and by starting on different notes within that scale create different modes. Like if you started on a D note, you'd create D Dorian Mode, or if you start on E, you'd create E Phrygian Mode. How does this work?" And then he also wrote on words here also, "If I took the D major scale and I raised the 4th scale degree, G to G sharp, does this create the D Lydian Mode?" Yes, it does. Okay, so, really, there's 2 ideas going on here. There's the idea of both relative harmony and relative melody ideas, as well as parallel as 2 directions or 2 scopes on this. You also have to be aware of what you're dealing with in terms of tonality, so whether something is major or something is minor. Relative just gives you the basic concept of the notes that you're dealing with, when you're doing relative comparisons. But when you're doing parallel comparisons, you get a much more broad-based idea of what's happening in terms of harmony. And that's where I would say for you to focus most of your attention. Focus on harmony. Know your chords that are involved in the various steps of the scales and understand how they would relate to improvisations. And it's a huge topic. Getting into modes is far much more involved than what I could possibly do in a quick video answer like this. So watch all the mode videos I have on YouTube and follow some stuff through on my website. And if you have the $12 to spend, buy my book. It'll help you a lot. There's an hour-and-a-half video that you get linked to off my website when you buy the book, so that should help a lot too. I have time for one more question, and I'm going to go to Kevin, who wrote in, and he says here, "I have been working as a musician for just over a year now. When I completed my tax return this year, my accountant mentioned that I should start a retirement plan. Do you have any suggestions on how I should go about that, as I can see you have been a musician a long time and probably have experience with this sort of thing?" So I want to start off on this question, and I want to answer with a statement. It's just saying I'm not a professional financial advisor. I cannot give you all the details that you probably will need. Now, my suggestion would be multiple things, though. That aside, there's really no other way to say it, but retirement planning is almost a living, breathing thing, and it changes, as time goes on. As years go on, things change. Most financial advisors, in my opinion, unfortunately, I don't believe have their clients' best interests at heart, especially if they work off of commissions. So know what you want to do and deal with somebody from perhaps a bank or a credit union directly that is not on any kind of commission. That's, in my opinion, very important. I also am not a really big fan of things that fluctuate a great deal with the economy. So those would be probably individual stocks, EFTs, mutual funds, that kind of stuff. The experiences that I've had have not been very good for the extra little bit of interest that you're going to get from those types of investments. I don't think they're worth it, especially when the markets crash and you lose thousands and thousands of dollars in market crashes. Although they tell you that, you're buying more shares into the stocks or whatnot, they never do tend to get back to where they were. And I just am not a huge believer in them. I think you're better off going in the direction of some kind of like T-bill, maybe guaranteed certificate, and also, you're going to have lower interest rates in those, but they're stable. When there's a market crash, you still have all your money sitting there, and it's still earning the percentage of interest. I mean, it's like sort of a win-win thing all around with those guys. Now, those would be, if you bought them through a bank and you set them up as some type of retirement plan. In Canada here, we call those RRSPs. those would be tax deductible, and that's good. I think it's really important to have a portion of your retirement plan dedicated to tax deductible things, but I also think it's also a good idea to have it invested into non-tax deductible things as well. So that could be lots of stuff. That could be things like precious metals, coins, maybe silver or gold, and something that's going to basically either stay more or less the same or hopefully go up. Now, a lot of people think gold is in a bubble right now. I don't know if I believe that or not, but you know what? That's what it's like when you're dealing with something of value. It fluctuates possibly. So that's why I'm saying have a portion of your investments that are very stable. I think it's a little bit better way to go. And of course, in this whole direction, constantly make sure that you're staying out of heavy debt, because debt is just plain bad. If you have a huge mortgage or you have huge line of credit expenses, huge Visa card bills, pay that stuff off. Get rid of debt. It's vital. I also am a really big believer in things like art or antiques, anything of value like that you can sell, that you can take to an auction and sell off and move quickly, liquidate it quickly into cash. Maybe if you have the money, real estate might be something good for you. So if you have the money to invest in it, that is. So also there's a direction. I know one musician in particular, a friend of mine, who's really into his dealing with his broker and investing in solid companies. At least he tells me they're solid. But this isn't something for me. I don't really personally do this. But like I say, I do know of a musician friend of mine that does this sort of thing. He just enjoys it, and it's something that he's messing around with. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. But it's something you're going to have to research. And if you're going to be a musician, remember that eventually you will not be able to play your instrument for whatever reason. Old age sets in, and you're going to need to live off something. So make sure you're investing for your future. That's very vital. Okay, so anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in. I will catch up with you next time, and until then, take care, everybody. We'll see you on the next video.